Hello and welcome back to GamesRadar's After Dark show here at Gamescom, and we are here now to talk Destiny 2 Forsaken with the one and only DeeJ.
I am the one and only. Well, there are actually many DeeJs, which is why I have to be DeeJ BNG.
Oh, okay, fine, fair enough. Well, we're here to talk about Forsaken. We've got some Gambit B-roll here, which we'll just play. We captured this at the show earlier. So, I mean, if you see anything you want to comment on...
Who's doing the play in here?
It's one of our editors called Sam Loveridge. She...
Yes, okay, cool. Yes, yeah? I was elsewhere in our Destiny installation at Gamescom when she was doing the playing. So, we are in the environment of the Drifter. We were just on board the Drifter's ship. You start out with the initial pose down. You sort of a chance to gesticulate madly and try to intimidate the other team, and then you enter your arena. So this is your space for you and your fire team of 4. Your opponents are the minions of the darkness, so you're confronting the enemies of humanity, the aliens that we love to fight in Destiny. And the object here is obviously to defeat your enemies and then to pick up these motes of light. They're these triangular drops. You'll collect those. You can see them dropping right there. Yep. So you grab that. You can hold up to 15 at a time, but you have to bank them. And when you bank them, you move the score closer to the winning condition.
Like the weakest link. Is that just an English thing? Would you get that?
The weakest link. Yeah, it's kind of like that. Only with much more gunfire and scary monsters.
Of course.
You want to bank those emotes because it earns you some perks. There is another team that is racing you to reach the winning condition on the scoreboard at the same time. So as you're playing Gambit, you're not just fighting these aliens, you're also racing against the other team. So we're going to take this cannon here, fly through the air with the greatest of ease. We're looking for the bank. Each team has a bank, and you're going to bank these motes so that you can put points on the board. If you look at the top there, each team is holding motes indicated by the white bars. Yeah. But when you bank them, you're actually putting points on the board for your team. Now, if you die, you lose these motes. So if your team is holding a lot of motes and you got a lot of white bar, they're like, go to the bank. You guys, go to the bank. And you hear a lot of your team saying that. It's like, we're holding way too many motes. We got to bank these, because when you do that, when you slug them home into the bank, you're able to send blockers to the other team. You actually influence the gameplay in the other team's arena. So you can spawn a boss on their side, it shuts down their bank, and when you deposit enough motes, you'll actually open a portal which lets you invade them in their own arena. Amazing. At this point, this cooperative activity becomes competitive, and the invader can take the fight directly to the opposing team and just wreak havoc in the way that you're used to doing, usually in Destiny and the Crucible. So what we've done with this is we've taken all the things that people love about playing Destiny and we've blended them together into one new explosive activity. It's one of the things that we're really looking forward to in Forsaken. This is a whole new way to play Destiny. Look at all those motes, grab them, bank them. That's the name of the game. And this is a great opportunity for us to unite all of the players of Destiny in something that they can share together for different reasons.
Right.
So
well, it looks like super fun.
Well, it's what we aim to please.
And a lot has obviously changed with Forsaken. So why would you say that now is the time to say come back to players who have maybe lapsed, or people who are just starting off and beginning their Destiny journey?
Well, no matter what reasons you enjoy playing Destiny, we've got more of that in Forsaken. This is the biggest expansion that we've ever created. It's also a very transformative moment for the Destiny player experience. We're beginning the second year of Destiny 2. We've changed a lot about how players play the game, about how they sort of build their own guardians. These weapons that they're using will drop with random perk sets and new modifiers that give you additional tactical gain. You can really build a character in this game that is a true reflection of your fighting style, the way you like to perform in combat. Gambit invites you to play a very specific role on your team. There's just so many different ways that you can treat this game like your hobby. We've got new collection systems that come online and enable you to look upon all of the loot that you've earned. You can collect armor, you can collect weapons. can collect story elements from the world of the game, and we have a brand new end game destination that's full of mysteries and challenges. It's home to the raid, and we're telling a new story, telling a story of redemption and vengeance. When we lose Cade 6, the legendary Vanguard Hunter in the opening act of this new adventure, we put all the players of Destiny on a path to revenge, seeking out justice for Cade, which is going to be this really cool new narrative with a darker tone and higher stakes across a lawless frontier. There are so many things about this that we're really excited about. The developers that have been working hard on this game, have been developing with the goals in mind to recapture your imagination and reinforce the hobby. And there are so many new systems that are coming online to be enjoyed by every player of Destiny 2. And all of this begins on September 4th. So we're really looking forward to reuniting our community and seeing what all these new systems and all these new perks and all these new ways to play mean to every individual player.
Great. Well, I was just about to do a call out to say if you've got any questions for DeeJ, then send them over. But they've already arrived.
Here we go.
So just before I get to them, we've got the Scorn. Should we talk about the Scorn?
Absolutely.
Before I get to those questions.
Sure.
So what makes the Scorn interesting?
The Scorn are a new enemy that you'll fight in the Forsaken. They are basically the personal army that has breached the Prison of Elders with the Barons. Now the Barons are the bad guys that you're going to be hunting in this new adventure. They're the ones that are responsible for the death of Cade 6. But when you're hunting the Barons, you're also going to find that they have this personal army of Scorn. They're resurrected fallen corpses reanimated with dark magic, treachery. They are extremely aggressive. They do not fight like the enemies of Destiny that you're used to engaging. They don't take cover. They don't retreat. They're going to seek you out wherever it is that you're fighting, and they're going to advance on you extremely aggressively. So I think if you're used to fighting enemies in Destiny PvE activities, you're going to have to relearn some of the tools of the trade, because this enemy has some new tricks up their sleeves.
Amazing. Right, well, here's a question from Catherine Stuntsman. Hope I've pronounced that right. She says, how do you think the new weapon slot changes will affect the game?
Yeah, so what she's referring to is we have taken the weapons that you have available to yourself in Destiny, and we've moved them around a little bit. Right. So we took a lot of powerful weapons that people enjoy using, things like sniper rifles and shotguns. We relegated them all down into this power category, which you would only see once or twice during a Crucible map. We're taking those and we're sort of spreading them out across all the different loadouts now. So you're going to have a lot more agency and a lot more freedom to configure your arsenal in a way that lets you fight the way you want to fight. Now, because we have very powerful weapons like shotguns and sniper rifles making an appearance more often, we did a tuning pass on the entire arsenal all up. So a lot of the primary weapons that people also enjoy using, like auto rifles, pulse rifles, scout rifles, they have also had to become more dangerous and more lethal to compete with the more frequent appearances of these shotguns and sniper rifles. So all up, I think you'll find Crucible gameplay to be a lot more lethal. The time to kill, a hardcore Destiny player would say, has been diminished. And at the same time, we all have weapons dropping with random perk sets and the new modifiers, so people are going to have to adjust to basically every other player in the sandbox and learn what they would call a new meta.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we covered the Scorn. Let's move on to the Spider.
Yes.
What's that all about? New vendor, right?
Yes, so we're returning to the Reef. If you've played previous Destiny adventures, you've been to the Reef, you've been to the domain of the Awoken, but in the events of the Taken King, we saw their, ruling class disrupted by a horrible fleet battle with Oryx, the Taken King. And now we get to understand what their domain has become. It's this lawless frontier now. Destiny's all about meeting new people. Destiny's all about encountering new characters and understanding what their motivations are. And the Spider is someone that you'll encounter on this journey. They will have their own reasons for you to play. Be kind of an uncomfortable alliance. In Destiny 2, you are the Forsaken. You are the Guardian that has left the authority and safety of the city to go and pursue your own agenda for revenge. So it's not entirely as virtuous as the old adventures where you're a warrior of the light doing the bidding of the traveler. Now you have this very emotional motivation to go and seek revenge for your hero and your mentor, to do what you think is right by Cade, which has you making some uncomfortable alliances with some shady figures.
So it's not, is it fair to say the Spider's the new Cade?
How could we ever totally replace Cade?
Well, obviously we
Obviously.
can't replace
but
Cade.
the Spider is a new, this is a new character that you'll experience. This is a new character that you'll encounter as you return to the reef and you learn more about the Awoken domain. They've always had those uncomfortable alliances with different fallen figures, and this is just one of the ways that we're adding some structure and some context to the new story that we're telling.
Okay, great. So earlier you mentioned the new raid that's coming.
Yes.
With the Dreaming City. Did you want that raid to feel more entwined with the game?
Yeah, obviously, the raid is an important completion of any Guardian's evolution. It's the pinnacle activity, it's the most difficult challenge that we'll throw at you, and in this case we have an entire destination dedicated to that type of endgame challenge. So the Dreaming City is a place that hosts the raid, but it's also a place packed with different mysteries and different puzzles and different things for you to decipher with the community or people on your friends list. And I think you'll find that the raid experience is complemented by the Dreaming City, but there are also things that happen there that any player can enjoy, because we all know that there are people in this community that don't necessarily have a raiding team at the ready, and this is a great opportunity for us to, in the Dreaming City, give them access to that same type of mood, that same type of challenge, and hopefully the same types of rewards that help every player reach their maximum potential as a Guardian, as a warrior of the light.
So what kind of mysteries can we expect to find?
Well, shucks, if I told you.
It wouldn't be mysteries
Yeah,
anymore,
I can tell you
right?
that we've seen some things over the course of this summer. New quests that arrive in Destiny that the community never even saw coming. It is these puzzles and it is these questions that bring everyone together. The community bands together and says, we had no idea that this was going to happen, but here's something new to do in Destiny, and we all have to discuss what this means. We have to trade notes so that we can solve these problems together. We can overcome these riddles and earn these rewards. Hopefully the rewards that we're earning feel like they're a good use of our time. This is what the hobby of Destiny is. And we want to continue to surprise our community in that way. We want Destiny to have the capacity to surprise you and to challenge the way you think about how you play this game, and to make you confront different types of riddles that you solve down the barrel of your gun or in conjunction with your friends, with your awesome fighting abilities or your grenades, your super attacks. I mean, you can see our Guardians in Gambit right now fighting with some of these new abilities, and across all three classes in Destiny, there are 9 new supers. So if you're devoted to being a hunter, a titan, or a warlock, you have 3 new super attacks that you can learn and master. But across the entire spectrum, there's 9 of them. So if you're a journey person and you have embraced all of these 3 fighting disciplines, you're going to have a lot of new things to play with.
And what's it like working with the studio on things that the community aren't going to see coming, and this is a great mystery?
Yeah, it's difficult to keep secrets because we love talking about these things. And at the same time, our community is always ravenous for new information. So, some of these things can be pulled out of a build of the game. We see that happen from time to time. And, we found ourselves at E3 literally counting down the clock. Like 6 hours to Cade's death not being spoiled. 4 hours to Cade's death not being spoiled. And the same things goes for quests like Whisper of the Worm. We want for people to discover these things in the game. That's when those discoveries are the sweetest. And our goal is always to give the people in our community the information that they need to be compelled to want to play. We want to intrigue, and we want to provoke, and we want to entice people to join us for this adventure and to explore these new spaces. But player discovery is such an important part of Destiny. Those moments of eureka, and when you're surprised, and when you see something brand new for the first time, and you get to ferret out its secrets and collect the new lore elements that you can track right there in these new systems in the game. And saving that for the player is important. Much as I would love to sit here and tell you all the secrets or give you some pointers on how to beat the raid and how much you might appreciate me giving you that tactical gain, it's really important to me that the game is the thing that entertains you.
Yeah, I mean, it's much more, as much as I'd want to know all of those things, it's much more exciting to discover it for yourself.
Sure, yeah.
And then go on that journey.
Yeah, the sweetest raid is the first time you play that raid. You know, going in blind, reaching that point where you feel like you have outsmarted these beasts that you know, keep knocking you to the floor and sending you back to orbit. And when you overcome that, and when you and your friends find the trick to victory and then see it through to its logical conclusion, that's really when we make the players of our game feel all-powerful. It's not just about a super attack. It's about really understanding how you and a fire team can overcome the challenges that we've created for you. And we love that relationship with our players.
Great. Well, I think there's time for another question from viewers. This one's from Tasha. You guys have obviously been playing Forsaken in the office quite a lot.
And at home, yep.
And everywhere else.
Take-home builds, and what'd you do this weekend? Isn't it great? And that sort of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
So the question is, what's your favorite new map?
Favorite new Crucible map? You know, my favorite map is actually right here in Gambit. And, you know, we have 4 different maps in Gambit. And the great thing about Gambit is the combination of the different opponents you can fight. You know, they're the different alien races that we're used to battling in PvE activities, but there's also different combinations. So this is a great map right here. There's lots of, you know, we've seen a couple of, you know, people dying to the environment. The floor is lava, as you can see right here. So you're battling, there we go. The floor is in fact lava, as if, yes, thank you so much for being a good demonstration. But you're battling invaders from the other team. You're battling the minions of the darkness. You're battling the floor. I think this map is a great environment. You know, it's a macabre place. It really sets a mood for itself. It's dangerous in so many different ways. And then the enemies that you would face here will be different. The combinations of those enemies are different. So you'll see different combinations of bosses. You know, Death heals Primeval. We just saw Death heals Primeval. That's been sort of the rallying cry of our community all summer long as they've come into Gambit with the first time. And I think people are going to have a lot of fun playing on this map. This is the first time we've ever shown this at Gamescom, so we always like to bring new content and new information to a show like this. And
well, it's great. It's amazing to see it.
Yeah, and we've left a lot on the table. There's still plenty of things for people to. Yes, yes. There's two entirely different Gambit destinations that people have yet to see. You know, there's a huge story here with, you know, the 8 different barons and each of those hunts. This is the focus of Gambit right here. This Primeval Knight. Once this team actually burns this down to the ground, they will win the race. But if they get invaded, and the invader takes out a member of their team, that final boss gets stronger. Right. So just to call that out for your audience, when you're playing Gambit, that's the brass ring right there.
So you're talking about some new things that are in Forsaken.
Yep.
There's a new mod system.
Yes.
Can you just explain how that affects our existing mod components? Like, do we dismantle them right now? Do we keep them?
Hang on to them for a moment. What I would do is go and take a look at all your favorite guns. Okay, because the mods that you have right now, the weapon mods you have right now, they basically alter the elemental damage that weapon does. So if you want to be, you know, solar or a void or an arc fighter, now's the time to lock that in and to make that permanent. You'll have duplicate drops of those weapons with different perk sets. So, you know, if you have a favorite weapon that you think you can use to solve every problem, you can collect them with different elemental damage types. But the mods for the weapons going forward will be things that actually change the way they work in a fight. You know, maybe you want a deeper mag, or maybe you want the weapon to be more accurate. You'll be able to really customize this weapon so it's an extension of your fighting style. Right. But now is the time to make sure that you've locked in your damage types, and then, you know, at that point, you can do with them what you will. We're going to have the new weapon system arrives on August 28th. So you'll download that, and then there'll be a week of slight uncertainty between the deployment of the new sandbox and the beginning of the new adventure. Okay. Some systems will come online but won't be fully functional. We'll talk about it all on Bungie.net this week, but you know, the beginning of year 2 will come in 2 beats, and in between there will be some interesting questions that people will have to ask themselves.
Amazing. Well, I can't wait to get stuck into it, and I can't wait to hear more. DeeJ, thank you very much for joining us.
Yeah.
That has been Destiny 2 Forsaken.